It's a little chilly in here in the shop today. Anyway, it's a little chilly in here today. I had the fire going all night. I came out late last night, midnight or so, and stuck some wood in it. It burned itself out before this morning, and nobody put any in this morning. So it's a little bit chilly in here. I just got a fire going again, so it's starting to warm up now. So I've got all of this stuff pretty much lined up. I've still got parts in the sandblaster. I need to finish sandblasting. I've got some parts up at the basement that I can work on up there for this mobile dimension sawmill. But I need to start working on some other things. So anyway, I've got all this stuff pretty much cataloged, what I've got here, what I need to order. I've got some of the stuff on set up to order. I haven't made it yet because I still haven't finished my order, but anyway, it's coming together. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this bench off here of all of the sawmill stuff, all the mobile dimension stuff. I still got to figure out these springs and order those. They just look like screen door springs to me. So anyway, like I said, I'll put all of this stuff in the box, and I've got some other things that I've got to do. I've got to work on some chainsaws here and get those set up. We've got some logging that we need to do. We've got to go cut some trees down that we've got selected. I should have done it before this last snow. I think we can still get up there where the trees are. That's one of the reasons I picked them out of where they were, is because they're in a spot where we can get to it when we can't get out to so many other places. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to gather all this stuff up for the mill, get my bench cleaned off, and work on these chainsaws a little bit. Now, I don't know what the heck I did with my bench brush. I've got a brush here that I've always kept here in the shop for sweeping this bench off with. I don't know what the heck happened to it. Anyway, I'll go put this stuff out of the way and finish cleaning this bench off, and then we'll get to working on something else. I got my bench cleaned off just in time. My wife just come home from town with a whole bunch of packages. She got a couple new pieces of glass for the sandblasting cabinet. Sandblasting cabinet has a glass built into it, and they sent a bunch of liners, vinyl plastic liners to go in it that you could change, but those things just get fogged up so fast that I got frustrated with them. So what I do is I get a regular piece of just single weight glass, have it cut to the inside dimensions of the regular glass, and then I just tape it in there with masking tape. I tried using double-sided sticky tape with it, but it worked okay, but you couldn't get the glass back out again without busting everything all up. It had a heck of a time with that, so I just use masking tape on it nowadays, and just tape this glass up on the inside of the main glass, and when it starts getting fogged up to the point I can't see anymore, I'll just take it out of there and get a new piece. So she got me two pieces. I used to buy two at a time, but one of them always winds up getting broken before I can use it. Or the hardware store that did glass went out of business, and the other one doesn't do glass. So we had to go to a guy that does glass, and he didn't want to do just one at a time, so we got two of them cut here. So I'll put that one aside, and I'll fix up that here a little bit later. Now I got a whole bunch of other boxes here. I've been ordering stuff, different parts and stuff off of eBay for this sawmill repair, and wow, can't believe they did that. Huh. Jeez. This is a brooch to broach out that sleeve that goes on the end of the edger blade shaft that I broke, that I screwed up. That's a brooch for that. I found that on eBay. They wanted $250 for it. The new price for these things is astronomical. It's about $500 to $1,000. I made the guy an offer of $100 and he sold it to me for $150. So anyway, I can probably never use that again. I'll have to put it back up for sale, but There it is. That's here. So now I can make that end for that flange end for that sawmill for that edger blade. So let's see what else we got here. There's a most of these guys don't send invoices with anything anymore. Coffeyville, Kansas. Oilite flange bearing. Oh, I just ordered these because I found them as I was looking for bearings, and these are just, I'm not going to use these on this mill, but I might want to. They were such a good price on these that I just went ahead and bought them. They're Oilite bearings, 1/2 inch ID and 1 inch OD. So anyway, I just got those just in case I come up with something someday and can use them. You never know. But they were 13 bucks for those things, and sometimes those Oilite bearings go for more than that a piece instead of that. There's, what is there, 20 of them in that bag of 24. So if anybody needs a 1/2 inch by 1 inch OD Oilite bearing, and it has a flange on it that you can use for a thrust washer. Anyway, I've got some. So which do I open up first here? There we go. Just some stainless steel tubing. Yeah, and I think I was looking for something else, and I come across that. And again, that's 1 inch OD. Well, let's see here. Maybe it's 1 inch ID. 7/8 inch ID. 1 inch OD. Stainless steel tubing. Again, that's kind of the same thing. It's, I don't really have a use for it right now, but I got an idea for some things, and the price was right on that stuff too. So that can go up. And I got my little case Stockman pocket knife my son got for me. I was looking for pocket knives. I knew I had my good pocket knife. I made a mistake and had it in my pocket when I went to get on the plane in Fort Myers, Florida after visiting my son down there when he got married. And so I wound up having to throw it away. They wouldn't let me do anything with it. I didn't get it in my luggage and stuff, and so I wound up losing my good old-timer pocket knife that I liked. So I was looking for a new knife, and most of these knives anymore are all stainless steel. They're hard to sharpen and they don't stay sharp very long. So I was looking for a good knife with a carbon steel blade on it, and I couldn't really find any. I wound up getting a new, I think it's an old-timer knife with stainless steel blades on it, but I can get it sharp, and I just have to keep sharpening it. But my son knew I was looking for one, so he found this case knife with carbon steel blades on it, and it's a nice knife. And I wasn't carrying it for a while. I was kind of saving it, but I'm 68 years old. What the hell am I saving it for? Whittle my way out of my coffin. Well, anyway, the stainless steel ones are probably better for me to carry most of the time around all the water and stuff, but this one, it'll take an edge and it stays sharp, so it's pretty nice. Oh, here we go. ER40 collets. Thing with the 5C collets, or with the ER collets, they've got the slots in them going both ways so they can close up tighter, and they have a little bit more flexibility on the size of whatever you put in them. Anaheim, California. That should be a bearing. Nope. Another piece of steel. Okay. A piece of stainless steel. Oakland Park, Illinois. Alright, there's some more bearings. Those are plain bearings. Yeah, this is plain steel, thick, drawn over mandrel. Need that for bushings or something. Okay, that's not an invoice, that's just a packing slip. This is most of this stuff goes up to the basement. We'll see how good this thing is. This is a long nose center, live center for the lathe, because sometimes it's hard to get in there on the end of a piece of work or close to a piece of work with that quick change tool post that we got, and the live center is so big and stuff, it's kind of hard to get in there sometimes on that. Okay, this is that bearing. I should have another one of these. I didn't know I needed two of them. I wound up ordering it twice from the same outfit, but this is that bearing that goes, no, not this one, goes on the stabilizers, the lumber stabilizers, that or the machine stabilizers. They ride on the lumber, on the log, and keep the machine from bouncing up and down, help stop some of that bounce. And there's another bearing. Agricultural parts. Okay, that's the second one of these two. Alright, I got those two. Now I've got one more bearing that I'm waiting for. One piece that had a smaller ID bearing on it, one or smaller bearing on it than the rest of them, and that's what these are for. But they were cheap, just as cheap to buy a whole bunch of them. Of course, they're just Chinese, but they're cheap bearings. But it was just as inexpensive to buy a whole lot of them as it was for one, and I figured maybe I could figure out, find something else to use them for sometime in the future. These guys want me to sell more, want me to buy more stuff from them, so that's good. I still got that one. Oh, that's it, right. I got that one double bearing or triple bearing, whatever it is, that I can't find. I've got one more bearing coming that I do have ordered, and I've got one that I can't find. So I've got to call into a bearing outfit looking for it, but I haven't got back from them yet. And I did get in touch with another outfit, and they couldn't find it. So, well, that was a pretty good haul for one day. So almost all of this stuff can go up to the basement. I've been getting these parts sandblasted and cleaned up, and they look a little better than they did. Get most of the crusty stuff off of them. So I get ready to, well, I did that bolt there just to see how it was going to turn out. It might be okay. I don't know. Probably should just get a new one, because they're CAD plated or zinc plated or something like that, and they'll be more rust resistant. These, everything's gone off of them, but the bare metal, and it rusts pretty fast. This is that sleeve for this big shiv, this big pulley. It It's in there. It looks a lot better than it did, but take this up on, put it on the lathe. I've got this one bolt here that I've got to get out that broke off in there when I was trying to pull that off. And then there's some little marks and stuff around here. I didn't do those. They were already there, so somebody must have had that off before. Well, anyway, I'll take that up to the lathe and chuck that up there and true this up, trim up these edges. I could do that with a file as far as that goes, but I'll polish up this portion right here that goes into this shiv. And this looks a lot better than it did. Picked up a little bit of oil and stuff there on the bench, but looks a lot better than it did. Not near as crusty as it was. There's still, what I see, I was looking at it a while ago and I could still see, oh, there's some, just almost impossible to get the rust off all those little teeny pits in this cast iron. It's just so fine, so small. But it looks like I'll work on that one just a little bit more down in there in those V's. This side over here, looking from this side, that looks pretty good all the way around. So, this is the sleeve that the adjustable edger blade rides up and down on, or mounts to, and then this slides up and down on that shaft. So I'll polish this up here where this bearing goes. That's all cleaned up around there. That can be painted from here. This snap ring groove here, it stops that bearing, so this can all be painted out here. This is one of the rollers, the main rollers on the for the carriage. Oh, it cleaned up pretty good. Now, I originally thought that that was a piece of pipe in there with a couple big washers on it, but this thing is cast and machined out. So anyway, that cleaned up good enough. It's got some pits in it and stuff, but I'll powder coat that and it'll be good. Another pulley there. That one turned out really good. Got a few pits in it here in the sleeve, in the V grooves. Actually, this one's in pretty good shape. Some of those are not. See, this is a double one. That one's in pretty good shape too. These are some of the stands. I guess that must have oil on it from the chainsaw. That must be what that is. Well, anyway, this all get washed off with solvent before I try to powder coat it anyway. So anyway, these cleaned up pretty good. They still, some of them got some pretty good pits in them, and it's almost impossible to get all the way down to the bottom of those pits. That one's really nice. This one was pretty pitted in here. This bottom piece especially. I might try to bead blast or sandblast that one some more. So these are those rollers that are for the belts that go to the edger blade. These are what kind of help turn that belt around when it turns 90 degrees to go from the main blade to the edger blade. There's some pretty good pits in these. They're kind of rough, and that's pretty thin. I was thinking about making new ones of these. These cleaned up pretty good, and if I powder coated them, they'd look pretty good. But I'm not sure here what I'm going to do with these. I can't get the rust out of these where it's set inside there, so have to see what I'm going to do with that. And then this is the one that mounts on the top up there and butts up against the pulleys, and I think this is what drives the main carriage back and forth. This goes through a pulley or a bearing here, and then you've got the shiv on the end of it there, and the small pulley on the end of it, and I think that's what drives the whole. You've got all kinds of pulleys going all over the place there, belts and stuff, and I think that drives the whole thing. This is pretty pitted in here, and inside here it's pretty pitted too. And this is one of them that I can't find the bearing for, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that. I think I've got material to make a new one of these, so I may do that. I don't know. So this piece like this, you can see that's got where a bolt goes through there. That's pretty well hogged out. I might take that up and weld that up a little bit and rebore that hole. All in all, they're cleaning up pretty good. I could start powder coating some of these pieces and getting them ready. I've got the main bearings all up in the basement. I'm going to need to polish those up and get those ready, and then I'll drill out two of them. The two main blocks didn't have zerts in them, So I'm going to turn those on the lathe, put a groove in them, a grease groove in them, and then drill them and tap them for a zerk so we can grease those bearings once in a while. Oh yeah, this is that lumber gauge thing. It's still bent, but it looks not rusty anymore. Well, I can either make a new one of those. There's nothing rocket sciencey about that at all. It's just a sheet of square stock there. This is a 1/4 inch piece cut out of it for the flag. No big deal on that. Okay, well, I got some more parts to sandblast, so keep working at this.